So tell us about day one going into New Jersey State Prison.
Day one, I remember when I left craft, which was the assessment center. I get to prison. It's probably around the afternoon time, like 11:30 ish. And when they bring you to Trenton State, like you going through this garage, but when you go through the garage, it's like there's no lights in there. It's just dark, and like you could just feel like this place is it's heavy. It's heavy with like a lot of heaviness. And I'm walking through there with the handcuffs on. You hear so much about this living in Jersey, how Trenton State is back in the day of what happens in there. So I'm just prepared, like, okay, whatever happens is gonna happen. People just stay out my way. I'm gonna stay out their way. Just leave me alone. Cause my focus is to get back. But I was prepared for whatever happened. And I'm just walking through the halls looking at the COs with they little bully sticks and all that. And you could just feel the tension in the atmosphere literally while you're walking through that building. And they put me on quarantine.
What do you mean quarantine? Like the shoe or?
Quarantine is basically once you get there, they just want you to go through the process of not being in population immediately, and then you sit there and you go to like a little classification thing, and they teach you about how the prison is, the do's and the don'ts, and all that. But the crazy thing is, for me, when they put me in there, they have no room on the unit that's used for quarantine, so they end up putting me in the lockup unit. So I'm in lockup my first 2 weeks.
What were
Damn.
the do's and the don'ts they explained to you?
Oh, you know the rules. You can't have cell phones. You can't have contraband. You could smoke at that time. Different things like that. No flirtation with the COs. You know, be respectful. All the regular normal stuff
And
that
all
they
that shit
have.
get
But
broken.
I'm in, like I said, I was in lockup literally my first day, and then they forgot that I was there in lockup. So I actually spent 2 weeks back there before I actually got to get the population.
And lockup is people that are pending
Damn.
charges or what's that?
Lockup for people that catch an institutional infraction, so they no
So
longer
solitary.
yeah.
Okay.
So that's exactly what it is. So
Ah,
I'm in there from day one.
were you by yourself or did you have a cellmate?
By myself, but the way it was structured, you probably have like 34 cells on each tier, and there's about 4 tiers. So you could all talk because the cells, the doors are bars. So you could talk through people throughout there.
So when you're in there, are you making friends with anyone? Are they explaining like kind of the inmate rules going into that prison, what you can expect?
Yeah, well, the prison I was at, majority of everybody that's in lockup is not even from that prison. They from like other prisons that surround, and you just come there for lockup. My first 3 days, I didn't talk to anybody. I was just sitting in the cell and I was just like listening to everybody that was talking. And I was just trying to pick up on anybody familiar names or towns that might be somebody that I know or somebody I know close to them. About day three, a guy that was next door to me, he actually like banged on the wall. He's like, "Yo, you all right over there?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." He's like, "You've been here like 3 days. You don't say nothing." So he kind of introduced ourselves and told him I just came down. And so like the first thing he did, we could smoke cigarettes, gave me like a whole pack of buglers. Like that was the cigarettes. And then from
Damn.
there, a couple of people that he knew, he introduced me to them, and I ended up talking to a couple of people that was there that knew some people that I knew. And that just started a process of me getting to know people that was actually in that population, but was in lockup at that time.
What type of inmates are housed there
Majority of everybody, whether in lockup or the prison
in
itself.
the prison itself?
Uh, I actually thought when I first got down to Trenton that everybody was locked up for murder. It's not true though. It's a good part of the population, but you got people that's there for murder. You have sex offenders that's there. You have people that might have drug charges that got sentenced to 100 years or whatever. You got the carjack.
100 years for a drug case is crazy work. 100 piece? Damn. 100 years is crazy, dog. 100 years is crazy. For non-violent offenses, 100 years? Damn.
A lot of people are co-defendants that's down there with the person. So you have like a mix of type of charges.
And what's the average sentence? Is it life or is it a certain
Uh,
minimum or?
Average sentence, you're not probably going to be in that population if you have anything less than 25 or 30 years
Wow.
at a minimum.
And age-wise, are you the
Shit.
youngest or were there other guys with that amount of time in there?
When I got there, I was 21. I was one of the youngest in the entire building at that time. Like it was rare to have younger people When I left, it was a lot more younger guys and older guys. But when I first got there, if it was the population at that time was about 1,900, I think it would maybe probably like I'm in that 100 class. It's like 100 of us at like the same age range or lower out of the whole prison.
Now, when you're in, say,
And from my knowledge, from what I've been told, mind you, I've never been to prison in my life. I've been arrested, you know what I'm saying, been in the county, shit like that. But I've never been like downstate, you know what I'm saying? But from my understanding, from what people have told me, most dudes, they take the younger dudes under their wing and kind of like protect them almost. Most of the older people, you know what I'm saying? Because if you get a motherfucker in there that's 18, 19 type shit, most of the people that's like 35, 40 and all that, they take them under their wing type shit. Actually, at least that's just what I'm told. It's not like the bullshit you see on TV. You know what I'm saying? It's not like the bullshit you see on TV from what I've been told in real life. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not how it works. At least from my understanding.
county, or even when you get here, are the Bloods holding you down? Like, are they sending you a care package, putting money on your books,
Oh,
taking
nah.
care of you?
Fuck no.
That's the myth that it doesn't happen that way. But
Them
you
niggas don't give a
you
fuck
have
about you.
people that you come across that because of their affiliations, whatever the case may be, y'all just jail how you jail within the prison. So you have some people that might reach out to you that's still on the streets, but from that point on, it's mainly just about the connections you make with people that's inside.
So why
Public service announcement for all you young niggas that think your motherfucking homie's gonna hold you down when you behind that wall. They ain't. And this is coming from a brother that did 19 joints. Nigga did 19 joints. Motherfucker, niggas on the street forgot about him. Stop, stop believing that these motherfuckers is gonna hold you down. They probably fuck with you a couple months, but overall, them niggas gonna disappear. Now, in the first video, I told y'all he was locked up with my cousin Sincere. My cousin Sincere did 23 joints. He did 23 years. You dig what I'm saying? Out of that 23 years, I think it's only two homies that I know of. That I know of. One really that kept in contact with him on some pick up the phone anytime he called, go visit him, all that. It's only one that I know of. Outside of that, I can't tell you. But there's one person that I know of that weekly, damn near daily phone calls, go visit them, all that. Outside of that, all the people that be with you outside, them niggas they gonna fucking forget about you, dog. They gonna fucking forget about you. Believe that.
these young individuals, these young men are so, infatuated by gangs today and present day, knowing that they're not going to be taken care of or they're not truly family at the end of the day when shit hits the fan.
I think nowadays it's just more about, I wouldn't say, I think some people it might be for protection. For some people, it might be for the family part of it because you grow up with a lot of them guys. You get attached to a lot of them guys that went through similar situations or circumstances. So it could be that aspect. But then I think probably now in 2026, what I'm saying, people just want to be somebody. They just want a reputation.
So tell us about day one in general population.
Day one, I was sent to after I got through the classification, I was sent to a unit. And a couple of people started coming up to me. We had a conversation. I actually had yard that night. So I really didn't do too much. I just went out to the yard to get some fresh air, played some basketball, and just tried to just keep my mind off of just like looking around the whole place like, I'm really in this place that I didn't read about or heard about for so many years. So the first day was kind of easy outside of going to classification to see where I was going to be housed at.
What does it look like? The prison, the yard.
It's an old prison. I think what they say it was established 1865. So it's like an old prison.
Shit fucked up.
The cell is definitely it's probably like half of this room that we in. Probably like half of it. One bed, got the toilet, the metal toilet. You got depending on what unit you was on. So I was on a unit two right when I first got there. It was 4 stories high and it's 125 people on each tier. And
Damn.
it got like a double lock. So after the CO lock the door, it's like a breaker up top where it can like close it and you're still locked in even if it's unlocked. So they gotta hit the breaker and unlock your door for you to be out. And then it just like people just running around, just living life as best they could in prison.
So everyone has a single cell?
Everybody in the prison has a single cell. It kind of changed a little bit where you got 2 units, 4 left and 4 right. They double lock, and it's only like 80 people in each unit, and then a north compound. They got the west, the south, and the north. It's 3 compounds, and on the north, maybe 2 units. They started double bunking the first 12 cells.
And how often are you locked in your day in this cell?
23 hours.
Oh, this is 23 hours
Yes,
too.
this is even though its population is 23 hours, depending on what your day is like. If you go to the mess hall, you get 30 minutes each time you go to the mess hall for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Before I left, they implemented the kiosk system. So if you want to go on a kiosk, you get 20 minutes from the kiosk, shower. They depending on the COs that work there, you might get 15, 20 minutes to shower. If you don't go to yard, that's about 2.5 hours, or if you got a job. So excluding all those things, it's about 23 hours. If you have jobs, if you go to rec, you can probably be out of your cell a good maybe 6 hours a day. And then depending on the type of seal that you got, they might be cool with you, unlock your door, you just be on a tier all day.
And how big's a tier?
Uh I would say well, at least about 100 yards or close to it.
And is it wide or is it just narrow?
No, it's narrow.
Okay.
It's narrow.
So did you ever watch Escape at Dannemora?
No, I heard about it. I haven't seen it though.
So in there, it's kind of laid out like how you're describing with the 3 tiers, but there it's like on the bottom tier, there's an area where there was tables to play cards and stuff, and then there was the 2 tiers which were very, very narrow.
Nah, you don't have no tables inside. All the tables outside in the yard. And the yard is like it's big, but then it's broken off into like little quadrants where they have a gate for each one. So you got 4 different ones. So you got the weight pile one, you got 2 other ones where you could just go play basketball. And well, actually 3 of them. And then they got like little pull-up bars and dip bars and all that stuff too.
Back then, could you cook in your cell?
Yes, if you had a stinger, you could cook it yourself. So
Oh, so it didn't have like a grill or
nah,
like,
you
okay.
don't get
A
none of that.
grill?
Like
Nigga, what fucking prison he talking about? Got grills and shit? What is he talking about? What the fuck? What the fuck is he talking about?
even now you don't have that.
Okay.
You don't have that because I guess like the state prison is probably different when in the feds and all that. But nah.
Oh no, we didn't have that in this.
Oh, all right.
But I know in New York prisons back then there was options. They
Yeah.
had like a grill or something to cook in. There was like a little stove. That's how one of the reasons why those guys were able to escape prison.
I never
Yeah,
heard of
well,
that.
depending on what unit you found on, they actually had a kitchen on a unit. So if you was cool with whoever worked in the pantry, you could just give them some food and they'd sit there and make something for you if you paid them or if they were just cool for to do it. But inside the cell, nah, you just having a stinger with hot water trying to make it work.
Now the commissary back then, what's that like?
Commissary it's high and it really ain't good. So it's like you probably spend $150 mainly on junk food. That's one of the things I order majority of the time, junk food.
Oh, you're in
Hun-
pretty
yeah.
good shape for ordering
Yeah,
junk food all those
But I
years.
worked out too. I worked out. Honey buns, cookies, chips, and stuff like that. Because I also was blessed to have a lot of people that I came cool with over the years that worked in the kitchen. So they'd send me trays and I'd be able to eat stuff that they make from the kitchen. So I really didn't need to order food on canteen. But majority of the food is fish pouches, clams, octopus, mackerel and all that. I don't eat any of that. So my whole thing is I'd rather just eat what my guys send me from the kitchen.
When the prison is a facility where you're locked down most of the day, are there politics at all with the other inmates, like cliques or crews, or how does that work?
Yeah, I think that's everywhere. I think you always going to
Yeah, I was about to
have
say the same
different
shit.
affiliations within the prison. And even if you don't have affiliations, you're going to have people that link up based on town. It's really more diverse when it comes to it's like not segregated based on race in the prison I was at. Like you could be cool with whoever you want to be cool with. But most people were just stuck with people that from the town that they were from. And that was like the thing that a lot of people did. It'd be rare that you had people that navigate outside of that, but that was like the main focal point.
Do like the
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Those politics are played almost everywhere. You feel what I'm saying? Like that ain't just some prison shit or some street shit. I was in the military. Those same politics apply. You have certain cliques and certain people. The same shit apply. Like he said, that shit is everywhere. That shit is not just in prison. So we need to stop believing that like street politics don't spill over in other places. You feel what I'm saying? Because I definitely seen the shit in the military. You know what I'm saying? Certain cliques did certain shit. They moved with certain people. They didn't fuck with certain people. It's the same shit. It's literally the same shit. Ain't no different.
G's look after the young guys like yourself when you first get there?
Depends on which one you're talking about, because at the end of the day, it's prison. You got some dudes that been down there for a while, and you got some dudes that try to use that as advantage, try to will you in for whatever reason they want to have you willed in for. But you have quite a few that are actually try to do right by you. One of the first guys I met, I wanted to go to law library, and he told me to fill out a slip. And when I get there, I'm expecting like, all right, I appreciate you helping me. Yo, here's everything I need for my case. And he looked at me in my face and said, "Nah, I ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna show you how to look everything up, and you gonna do it on your own. But I'm not doing that for you." So that was a blessing in a way because it helped me learn a lot of stuff from the case. You get a lot of guys that will sit there and say, don't start your bid off getting in trouble because it's going to hurt you down the road. Some of them got locked up for a bid that might have only been 20 years, but then they turned it into 40 years. They might have turned it into life based on the fact of the infractions keep
They
and what
fucking
kind
up.
of infraction they get, stabbings and all that stuff. So now they got life in prison.
Were you
Yo, I ain't gonna hold you. I've heard those stories as well. I've heard those fucking stories as well. I heard the stories of a motherfucker getting locked up. He got sentenced to 10 years, but he did so much bullshit while he was in there. He ended up turning that 15 into 45. Like, it's this shit is wild, bro. This shit is wild. This shit is wild.
witnessing a lot of violence in that prison?
It could get violent at times. For the most part, it's laid back, especially compared to like a lot of other prisons I've seen on TV or hear about where it happens constantly. It could get to that point, but mostly everybody just want to just get home.
What would be the cause of something happen?
The funniest thing, I seen people fight over the craziest things. I seen people fight over trash bags. I seen people fight over just talking to them the wrong way. And it's like people that's cool with each other. But prison is prison. You still gonna be able to drink. You still gonna be able to smoke. So you might get some dudes that's drunk, and then they start arguing and end up fighting on the chair. And it has nothing to do with anything serious, or it could be as serious as a person can come down and they coming down for killing somebody or doing something to somebody family member that's down there or somebody that I know. And then once you get down there, you're a target.
Did you have any altercations?
Nah, I was chilling.
You
Like,
went all that time without any altercations?
without one fight.
Wow.
I think it's just a respect thing. I respect everybody in this world. I respect everybody's space, but I also felt like coming down there because of some things on the streets. Like some people knew who I was, so it was kind of like a mutual respect thing throughout the whole time. That wasn't really nothing like that. Did I get into maybe a confrontation where it could have escalated to that? Maybe about once or twice. But as far as physically getting into an altercation, nah, I was just chilling.
So do you think
I ain't gonna hold you. In most cases, and this is like most cases in life, right? If you lead with respect, most men will grant respect back. You feel what I'm saying? Like I have never been in a situation, right, where I've been respectful and got disrespect in return. Like it's not how it works, man. Real men treat men with respect, and you know what I'm saying. You get the same respect in return. That's like I think that's globally, like across the board. You feel what I'm saying? Like I don't think that's like far fetched. You know what I'm saying? Or something that's hard to believe. You feel what I'm saying? Like, and I've heard, like I said, I've heard prison stories from a lot of people. My dad been to prison. You know what I'm saying? I got family members, other family members that been to prison. I've heard stories. I got homeboys that been to prison. You know what I'm saying? Like all the shit you see on TV is just TV. You know what I'm saying? Like for the most part, if you respect your surroundings, you respect your space, you respect, you know what I'm saying, the people that you incarcerated with, you know what I'm saying, shit goes smooth. You know what I'm saying? Granted, do you have people in there that be on bullshit? Sure. Do you have people in there that's, you know what I'm saying, still got the mindset of being a fucking a criminal and doing criminal shit? Sure. You know what I'm saying? But overall, you know what I'm saying, you have, for the most part, if you respectful, you be respectful, you ain't wilding out, you know what I'm saying? I think you'll be fine.
Time in the county really matured you? Because a lot of the young guys that go into prison are the ones acting up and causing all the problems.
Yes and no. I would say it could mature me because I was in like lockup kind of. I was in 23 and 1. So by the time I got in population, I could move around. I was kind of used to just like being by myself. So that was one. But also I said no, I think it's a mindset thing. Because when you go into prison, you can either make the choice to tap into the wrong people or tap into the right people. And my focus was just getting home. And along the way, I met a lot of good people, but my focus was just getting home. It wasn't about just sitting around talking about some war stories or some things that we did or getting into the politics of what dudes wanted to do because all they could focus was on this prison. My mind was made up. I'm going home.
Were your kids coming to visit at that point when you
That's
first got
dope.
there?
Yes. I appreciated my parents for doing that. My parents definitely brought my kids to see me throughout the years while I was in prison. So they made sure that I had that relationship with them. And it played a major part, especially the younger years when they was like 4 to 10. So I still got to know them. They didn't understand at that time where I was at and why I was at until I was saying to my son was probably about like 11 and 12. And like he just came out one day like, "Yeah, you a jab."
He figured it
Yeah,
out.
he figured it out. He figured it
Kids
out.
ain't stupid.
And my daughters didn't want to believe him until we was all on the visit, and then they asked me, they like, "Nah, he lying," and I'm like, "Nah, he right."
Do you feel like you were actually raising them on those visits, or did you have to kind of defer to their mothers for that?
I did a little bit of both. Like I knew they was with their mothers physically, but I tried to impart as much wisdom in them as I possibly could through the visits, through the phone calls, because I wanted them to stay on a path and not feel that even by the time they got to a teenage level and hear whatever they heard about me, that they feel that they had to follow in my path in some type of capacity. So my thing was keep them out of prison and keep them away from any affiliations or anything and hopefully that they have a good life. I just stay out of the streets and complete school. That's all I wanted them to do. And the beautiful thing is, even to this day that I'm home, is like a lot of those things I instilled into them, I can see it. And they tell me about it. They tell me about it. So I definitely appreciated those moments.
What was
That's I ain't gonna lie, that's dope. That's dope because a lot of situations, there's a lot of situations where, you know what I'm saying, brothers that be incarcerated for these long periods of time, they kids will not come to visit. You know what I'm saying? The mothers will not bring the kids, the grandparents won't bring the kids, or the grandparents will want to bring the kids, but then the mother be like, no, I'm not sending my kid up there. So it's dope that, you know what I'm saying, the mother of his children allowed, you know what I'm saying, they that those the mother of his children allowed his parents to bring his children up there so he can still have some sort of influence in their lives. You know what I'm saying? Because just seeing, like, I ain't gonna lie, like my mother used to take me to visit my father all the time when he was incarcerated. You know what I'm saying? So my father still had a hand in, you know what I'm saying, some of the things that I did. Not a lot because, like I said, once I went home, you ain't there. So it's just like, you dig what I'm saying? But for the most part, you know what I'm saying, he still had a part in, you know, instilling certain things in me. But I think it's dope that, you know what I'm saying, the mother of his children allowed that to happen. I salute her for that.
appeal process like?
It's like a lot of letdowns. You are constantly hoping that every time you file a brief that you'll have an opportunity to get some type of relief. My direct appeal, I got there 2008, my first appeal was denied in 2011. 2010, my direct appeal, I appealed their decision that they denied it again right there in 2011. And it's like you're putting case law into your brief and making points of why you should get some relief. And then the prosecutor side will just find some way to use the same case law you use it for their benefit, but then deny you on the other hand of it.
And did you have a different lawyer for that appeal process?
Yes, I had a different lawyer for the direct appeal, for my PCR process, and for my habeas corpus process, which when you get to the feds. But every way along the way, I'm just filing it, hoping that I get relief. But sometimes it just take long. After 2011, my next appeal process for my PCR happened in 2013, 2014. They denied that. I had an affidavit from one of the witnesses that said that he lied. But at this point, they're like, okay, yeah, he's lying in this affidavit, so we shouldn't give him no relief. But my standpoint is like, y'all know he lied at trial, but y'all convicted me, but now y'all want to say he a liar. Then my next second
That's crazy.
PCR was around 2018. I had something in there. Then I had the habeas corpus. They denied that on my Habe probably like 2019, 2020, right before the pandemic.
And that was the last thing you could have applied for? Or one after?
That was the last part in the sense of things I brought up. But I did have another affidavit that I could file because under the rules, you could file a newly discovered affidavits for your appeal process at any given time. So I still had that, and I still had the opportunity to apply for sentencing to get it because I was excessive sentence.
Mm.
So, but I didn't file them yet. The pandemic happened, stopped everything. So post-pandemic, I was just trying to be smart about it. Get the right lawyer to do it the right way in hopes to get relief.
So all that time passes. Do you still have hope that you're going to get out eventually, or?
I always had hope. It might have wavered sometimes. Like sometimes I find myself sitting there like, is this really it? Am I really going to have to spend the rest of my life in prison? So of course that doubt is going to come into your mind sometimes. But I never wavered on the fact that I don't care how it's going to happen, I'm going to get home one day.
Now, on a 60-year sentence, is there parole or?
My sentence was 60 with 85, so my parole eligibility was after serving 51 years, so I would have been 70.
That's insane.
Jesus
in at 19.
Christ.
When at 19, they told me at 70 years old is when I would be released.
Damn.
And when do you think your mentality truly changed of like you felt rehabilitated in regards to you weren't going to go back out, and if you were let out, you weren't going to go commit a new crime? At what mark?
7 years, around the 7 or 8 years mark. I remember I was just sitting there one day and just looking around in the cell and just knowing that I already been locked up for 7 years, 2 in the county at this point, 5 years in prison. Now, I wasn't getting in trouble. I finished and completed school when I was in there. I did that my first 8 months. I actually got my diploma my first 8 months because they allowed me to do that. And I was just sitting there one day and just thinking like, I know I don't want this to be the rest of my life, but I definitely need to do other things that I know I'm capable of doing, and in hopes that that would be a changing factor of why I'd be free one day. So that was about 7 years in, and from that point on, I just stuck to everything that I was just trying to do to better myself, but to also better my guys around me because you become family with them guys. Y'all all growing up together, you all got a bunch of time. And that was just my focus, and I stuck to it all the way to the end.
Would you see?
Damn, I ain't gonna lie. It sucks that sometimes a person gotta go sit down for it to kind of click. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna lie, my cousin, he was one of them. He was in and out at a young age, you know what I'm saying? And wrapped up in the streets and shit. And it didn't click for him until he had to go sit down. You feel what I'm saying? And he sat down for 23 years. He just came home right after this brother. He came home a month after this brother came home. You know what I'm saying? He came home a month later. You dig what I'm saying? Like, it just sucks that some people don't click until it's already too late. Now you got to go sit down for all of this time. You feel what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? Luckily, you know what I'm saying, my cousin was able to, you know what I'm saying, be granted clemency, and he came home and he's doing well, you know what I'm saying? He's getting acclimated back into society. But damn, son, I wish some people would just listen to the people around them. You know what I'm saying? Because I know for a fact, at least for my cousin, he had family members that was like, "Yo, chill, you need to slow down," and all this other shit. But some people, and I used to be one of them. Some people, they got to go through it. You know what I'm saying? They gotta figure it out on their own. You know what I'm saying? So I get it, but I just wish some people would listen before you have to. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of this shit could be avoided. You dig me?
A lot of guys go home.
No, no, no. First, I would say first 5 to 7 years being in there, if one person got a reversal the whole year, everybody was happy about that. Now, mind you, it's 1,900 people in the prison. So we just talk about one reversal, everybody be happy. I would say about
Because it gives them hope.
mid 2015, 2016, as the laws changed a little bit, you will start seeing maybe now 5 reversals in the whole year. So that gives people a little bit more hope. A lot of us have said, okay, now they kind of open it up a little bit more. New case laws is coming out. Probably during the pandemic and after the pandemic, then you started seeing about 5 reversals in a week. So now it kind of boosts your hope up a little bit and say, okay, you definitely got a shot at this point in time.
Shit, hope
But
is all they
other
got.
than that, it's like in the beginning,
Shit, at that point.
it's rare you will see somebody go home.
Now, were you seeing guys that were in your shoes, but on the other end of it, where they were leaving at that 70-year mark? Like they're 70 years old, they got locked up at 19, and now they're going home?
Yes, I seen a few people that did about 40 years there and got released.
What's their
Damn.
mentality like that day before they're
40
about to get
pieces.
released?
Crazy.
One guy, he did about 30, 40 years. He got released. He went home and killed somebody the same night so he can come back to prison.
Because he didn't know how
Damn.
to
He
adapt.
didn't know how to adapt. That was one guy that happened to. There's a couple of other ones. Like you do 40 years, more than likely, a lot of your close family and friends then died, especially by the time you 60, 70. So some of them are just scared of going out there. Right before I actually left, maybe a month before that, one of my old heads, he finally got granted parole and he did about 30 years and he's about 70. He's about 70, but he was still functioning. He still was grinding to get to the next level.
Now, those individuals, do you think they needed to be in there for that long period of time?
I don't think anybody needed to be in there for that period of time. Like we ain't talk about majority of like people that's like serial killing everything, right? You might talk about people, might be 5 of them get locked up. Whoever did it don't know, but everybody then did like 30 years. For what? And a lot of the crimes is not even murder charges. A lot of them just selling drugs or robberies, where people get locked up for like a string of robberies or whatever the case may be. But I think 30 years is a little bit excessive for something that, not saying that is right, not saying that is right, but it's like doing that amount of time is crazy.
Would you see a lot of wrongful convictions, or is that minimal?
I don't know. And the only reason I say I don't know because I really did open that door to brush shoulders with a lot of people. Like people that I became cool with along the way, I became cool with them. The ones that I didn't, I didn't. If I didn't know people, I was still cordial to them in a lot of aspects, but I wasn't really trying to find out, well, like, oh, why you here for? Why you here for? But it was a good amount of people that probably was wrongfully convicted in some type of capacity.
Now, since there was a part of you that always had that mindset that you were gonna get out one day, what were you preparing for? What were you gonna do with your life?
Preparing. Well, as I was like getting older in there, and I would say pandemic really opened my eyes to a lot of different stuff. I always loved writing since I was a kid. And I told you in the beginning, I always wanted to do business basketball. So I said, okay, even though I'm in prison, let me see what I could do business wise. So let me learn as much as I can learn. And with the writing, always loved just writing stuff I can probably make poetry up on a drop of a dime on the topic. And I remember during the pandemic, I had wrote like a few poems and I posted them on my social media, just various topics, and the impact that people got from it I'm like, okay, maybe I can make something of this. So I just started doing it more. And then I'm gonna say, okay, when I get home, I want to get into some public speaking engagements because I feel like my story and my testimony of what I've been through probably can help somebody in some capacity in their life.
What was it like to age in there?
I'm not gonna lie. Most brothers that do this type of shit, they come home and they target the youth, and I believe that's the greatest thing they could ever do, because most of the time they're not gonna listen to somebody that hasn't been through it. Most times, if you haven't walked in their shoes, they're not gonna listen. If you haven't walked the same path, they're not gonna listen. So for this brother to come home and like, listen, fam, I just did 19 joints. Don't think this shit can't happen to you. You feel what I'm saying? He did 19 joints at 19 years old. You feel what I'm saying? So all of his entire adult life, he's been in prison. You feel what I'm saying? His entire adult life, he's been in prison. He's only been home like 2 or 3 months. You feel what I'm saying? Maybe 2 months. He's only been home like 2 months, a month and a half. You feel what I'm saying? His entire adult life has been spent in prison. These are the type of people that need to talk to the youth, that I think they can get through to them because they walked it, they lived it. You dig what I'm saying? Like Wallow, for example. Wallow came home after doing 20 joints and, you feel what I'm saying, turned up. So I believe those are the right people that should be talking to the youth for sure, 100%.
Going through birthdays, holidays, all of that. Did
For
you live off of the memories you had from before you got imprisoned, or?
Nah, because growing up in the environment I grew up with is like, okay, you probably celebrated a birthday, but it probably wasn't like all out. It was like, yo, happy birthday, bro. And that's it. But in there, it's like I really wasn't celebrating holidays. To me, it was just another day. For the 19 years I did, it was just another day. Every day was just another day. Like a couple of my guys I knew it was my birthday, they'd come like, yo, happy birthday. Some people that I hear about, like, oh, why you didn't tell me it's your birthday? I never really cared about that type of stuff. My focus was just how can I get home? I'll worry about everything when I get on the other side.
Did you switch prisons throughout that?
Nope, I was at the same prison the whole time
Wow.
in one prison.
So
Damn.
what was it like seeing the prison changing, like guards and, just the building getting older and new faces, all of that? I mean, I'm sure you went through a bunch of administrations too, like
Yes,
wardens and all that.
yes. No, it happened a lot. Whereas when I got down there in 2008, I'm like, oh man, this prison crazy. Can't get any more messed up than this. And then when other administration come and get more messed up than what it was, I would say a lot of younger kids came in there, especially towards the end. They came in there like they just fit in prison already, like they just been there. So then you have a lot of older guys that's following the younger kids, and it's just like a whole bunch of chaos, and nobody really accomplishing
Shit is
anything.
ass
A
backwards.
lot of COs that grew up in there the same amount of time I was in there, they started retiring. So now you getting new COs coming in. And I think like one of the main thing is like when I first get there, you going through the metal detector, you get patted down, they pat you down, they serious, you keep it moving. Now it's like they come pat you down like, yo, how your day? You feeling okay today? It's like they being polite. So it's like a different way to approach it.
Yeah, and what about the wardens and whatnot? How do those change and their missions and what their goals are over time?
Well, the one that we had when I first got there, she really didn't do too much in regards of rehabilitation and programs. The last two, I think it probably switched about a couple of times. Might have been more. I wasn't really paying attention to that. But the ones that I do know switch, I would say like the last two or three of them actually started bringing back different programs in the prison for us to grow off of and to try to just do something with ourselves. And they just bring out outside volunteers to come in and do different things that help us in some type of capacity to rehabilitate ourselves.
Do you find that wardens are political, or it doesn't matter who the governor is?
No, I think they political because I believe if the governor is Democratic and you got a Republican administrator, they're going to it's going to be friction and vice versa. So, and that's the game that they play. And then the governor, he's the president of the state, so he can implement what he really want to implement. So I think that goes a long way too.
What was the pandemic like in there?
Oh man, we was locked
Yeah, I know
down
that shit was
for
crazy.
We was locked down for about what 9 months, the first 9 months in 2020. Me, I was happened to be part of the first group that went on quarantine in there. Like we didn't get masked or anything when the pandemic first happened. And probably while it was happening out here from what December, January on, we probably didn't get masked until like May. So that's like the first time it really got real for us in there. And we got tested every week. I was one of the first ones that went on quarantine. There was probably like 70 of us. And then they started quarantining the whole units. And then through like the 9 months process, we wasn't coming out ourselves. It was just if you had a job on a tier, then you can come out and work and help pass out the trays and all that. But everybody else outside of a shower, you was locked in all day.
So no rec.
Nope, no yard, nothing.
And how many showers do you get a week?
You get a shower every day, depending if you want to shower every day. But certain days, because of the pandemic, like yeah, I gotta wait till tomorrow for a shower.
At least they were giving it to you every day. In the feds, when
Yeah.
you're on lockdown, it's only 3 times a week.
Oh yeah, that's
And could you get phone calls or?
yeah, we were still able to use the phone. I would say Trenton is one of the only prisons in New Jersey that actually allow you the phone actually comes in the cell that you in.
On like a push
Oh,
thing?
wow.
Like on a cart or
No,
what?
no. The runners that work on the tiers, the ones that bring it to you, they probably know everybody phone slot. So by the time you work that job, you'll know who get the phone at what time, and everybody have like a 30-minute hour slot depending on who used the phone on that particular side of the tier. But yeah, the phones actually just come in the cells like a regular handheld phone with a long cord that's probably like 90 feet, and you just sit in the cell with it. While most you have to go on a tear for it.
Could
Oh,
you still
wow.
order commissary during this lockdown?
Yes, they allowed us to order commissary.
And what about meals? Was it like a bag lunch or a special like normal food?
No, it was normal food. They allowed the kitchen workers to go to work. It was all of that was normal. It just that you wasn't going to class, you wasn't going to school. Maybe the first 3 or 4 months of it, because it was like coming off the wintertime, you wasn't allowed to get visits. So then maybe
Yeah, I remember that too.
summertime they started visits around June, but it had to be outside visits. You couldn't hug or kiss your family members. You had to sit the whole 6 feet
6
apart
feet.
thing,
Yeah.
or however far it was. And that's just how it was for like maybe like that 9 months to a year.
How was staffing? Was
That's
staffing very
crazy.
low during that period of time too?
Yeah, because a lot of them didn't want to come in and catch it. And then the ones that did came in, they caught the virus, then they'd go out. They act like they got it longer than what they had it for. So now they getting paid to be home for like a month.
Or they brought it to you?
Oh yeah, that COVID was a crazy time, boy. I swear the pandemic was a crazy time. Oh, you want to get out of work? Yeah, I got COVID. All right, big dog, stay your ass home. You dig what I'm saying? Like, all you had to say was COVID, and that shit was like the Willy Wonka golden ticket, bruh. I promise you. I promise you.
They don't want that bought it in.
Now, clearly you're not serving 60 years anymore,
No.
but you exhausted all your appeals.
Yes.
So what happened?
So 2023, I believe. Yes. We get an email one day. It's the summertime on the kiosk, the JPay. And we get an email that says from the ACLU. It said we're starting a clemency project, and if you fit these 4 criteria for extreme trial tax, you could potentially get some relief. So the 4 criteria was you had to go to trial, you got sentenced more than 15 years, you your your time that you got sentenced to was double what your plea offer was, and you had to have at least 20 years in, 1/3 of your time in, or your plea offer in. So those are the criteria. It wasn't until 2024 on Juneteenth, the Governor Phil Murphy, he came and actually signed it into legislation in New Jersey. And I think he had Meek Mills and Wallow, a couple of other people that was there with him when they did it. And then they started a process. So you had the ACLU and you had the Public Defender's Office working with Joseph Kokoro, who was the ex-head of Public Defender's Office, working with Princeton and students, like a whole bunch of stuff that's happening, reaching out to us that's in prison. And what they'll do is they'll take our application and they'll work with you. Some people they will select to represent, and some people you have to do it pro se. So when this happened, I actually was in lockup. This was 2024. I was in lockup. I got caught with a cell phone.
So you got
So
into some trouble.
yeah. That was the trouble. I got caught with a phone. I had a phone in there. I had a little jelly phone. And when I'm in lockup, they're talking about the clemency and people getting home. But at this point, nobody actually went home off of the clemency yet. So while I'm back there, when I used to be talking to my wife, and I'm telling her about the clemency, she was like researching everything that we would need for the clemency, reaching out to people. And shout out to a guy named Thomas and a guy named Jackie that helped. They was feeding her the information that actually helped prepare a lot of the stuff that we was doing pro se.
Hey, I ain't gonna hold you. Shout out to that woman, man. Real talk. Shout out to her. Because at the end of the day, that's rare. That's rare that you have somebody that's gonna hold you down in situations like this. So shout out to her, man. Word. Word. Shout out to her. And I pray, I pray that you realize what the type of woman you got, and I pray you don't do shit to fuck that up. Because I know a lot of people that they do these lengthy prison times, and then they got a woman that's, I mean, holding it down for them. Now I don't know how long she been holding you down through this, but obviously she went through this whole process with you for the clemency and all of that. She put some footwork in to get you home. She actually, you know what I'm saying, put some work in. You feel what I'm saying? So I know a lot of people that they go to prison and then they dealing with somebody on the outside and they feeding her all these lies and shit. They come home and do a lot of fuck shit. So, but I hope you hold it down, my nigga. You seem like a stand up guy. You feel what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I mean that's dope. Salute to her, man. She a real one. It ain't too many. It ain't too many out here that's doing that. You know what I'm saying? I salute her.
The ACLU told me I was one of the people I couldn't represent. I'm like, okay, cool. So let's fast forward to 2025. I get out of lockup February, and we have the petition together. I get on a unit. She sends it in. We have a little trouble with the jail getting it for about a month. I finally get it. I notarize it. I submit it to the parole board in April 15th. One of my close guys, Zach, he was represented by the public defender's office and he was telling me about it. So I'm like, I might as well just take a shot to reach out to them to see if I can get a letter from them too, a letter of support. That's one of the things you can add in there. Because I'm like, if they're helping, their name gotta mean something when it's going to the governor. It was a blessing that when I send it to them, they said they would pick up my case. So then it was no longer pro se. So they put it back together and then they added their own support letter along with all the facts and stuff that they read. And then it came down to just a waiting period at that time. And it's nothing guaranteed. It is about you filling out this petition and just praying that, the governor and his team that he built like an advisory board and he have a team that reviews your petition and then they recommend what should happen with your petition.
And I ain't gonna lie, I know that's the part that's dreadful. Speaking to my cousin, you know what I'm saying? I spoke to him since he been out, you know what I'm saying, a couple times. And that was the most dreadful part. It's like once you finish the process, you put all this paperwork in, you plan the waiting game. You feel what I'm saying? That's the most dreadful part because my cousin was in a similar situation. He exhausted all his appeals, you know what I'm saying? And he been down 23 joints. You know what I'm saying? So playing the waiting game and you like, I'm gonna do one last Hail Mary, and it was worth it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, he home, so I know that waiting period was stressful as shit. I already know.
It comes to about November, and one morning they called me out the cell, and I'm talking to a lieutenant. He called me, one that I knew, and he was just making sure the numbers. He had a piece of paper. He's like, "Yo, this your SBI number, your state number." So I would say, "Yeah." So he was like, "Yo, congratulations, they granted your clemency." So right there, I'm like, I seen maybe 5 people go home already within that year of 2025. So now I'm like, it's a blessing that I'm about to be with them. But my mindset was whether they free me immediately or lessen my time, either way, it's a win. I know I'm not going to be here. And on November 12th, I sat down with the governor's team that he put together, and we had an interview. It was for like an hour. They asked a bunch of questions based on the stuff you submit in your clemency, your upbringing, your charge, your institutional charge, or charges that you may have got along the way. And they basically just like, we're gonna put in our recommendation, and when the governor get it, he might sign off on it. They can't tell us anything, even if they already know what's going on at this time. So I'm like, cool. I was just thankful knowing that something is about to happen. Then the following week, they called me down and said, you have a meeting with the administrator. And when I get in that room, we sitting there, he said, you got a meeting with the governor's team again. And when the video pop on, it's actually not the governor's team, it's the governor himself, it's Phil Murphy. And he's sitting there, and I'll never forget, he asked me, he said, Shawn, how you doing this morning? I said, I'm blessed. God woke me up this morning. He said, well, I'm about to make your day a whole lot better. I'm commuting your whole sentence. So in that moment, I'm sitting there, I'm
Damn.
thankful.
Damn.
And I'm like, it's finally over after
That's
19
crazy.
years. And he goes on to tell me, he says, he personally wanted to tell me that he's commuting my sentence. One is because of the extreme trial tax. I got sentenced too much when they offered me an 18 with 85. So they believe that if they
Facts.
offered me an 18 with 85, that they probably thought I was probably going to win that trial anyway. So that's why it was so low.
Yeah, that's
So
crazy.
because of that,
And that's kind of similar to my cousin's situation. If the way it was explained to me by his sister, by my other cousin, they offered him like 12 at trial. They offered him 12. Well, before trial, I mean, they offered him 12. He said, fuck no, he going to trial because he didn't do it. He was innocent and all this other shit. Went to trial. Shit went left. And I think they ended up giving him like 40 or 50 years. Some shit like that. When they offered him 12. So it's like, what? They offered him 12. He did 23. They gave him 50, 40 or 50, some shit like that. So I swear that this judicial system is ridiculous, bro.
and I had served 19 years at this point, I didn't exceeded what my plea offer was if I would have took it, along with everything I did along the way in prison to show that I rehabilitated myself. And from there, I signed my release papers maybe 10 minutes later after that. And I had to wait until December 4th. And that's when they finally let me free.
Well, that's interesting. So they grant clemency, but then they go through other steps to find out how much that clemency is.
Yes. All right. So the clemency, they can do it in any way. There's some people that, like me, got granted clemency and we're free. It's some people that got granted clemency so far and they might have 20 years and 22 years, and they say, you know what, based on the nature of your case, we're going to commute your 60 years, your 100 years to 25 years. So now you can't exceed that 25 years, but you're doing 25 years day for day, which is still a blessing because now you don't have to do that whole time. So I was just one of the fortunate ones that was blessed to obtain immediate release.
But after they had already said they were going to grant clemency when the
Yes.
lieutenant called you out. So it took
Yes.
some time to figure out what that clemency actually was.
Yeah, no, I think they probably knew what it was the whole time
Uh,
because once the governor team actually comes see you, that's just part of the process that they did here and there. They don't have to see you, but they just come to see certain individuals that they want to see just to talk with you to add more into, I guess, your petition because they sit down with the governor and tell them this is our recommendation. We believe this guy or woman should be granted clemency and go home right now or whatever they come up with. But I believe going into the room, they already knew what they wanted to do. It was just a matter of a conversation. And after we got the conversation, maybe like I said, a week later, they actually come back and tell you what the decision was based on what the governor decided to do. And from there, it's just a point of them setting up a date because it's multiple people going home. It was me and one other guy that left that day. So once you know what's happening with you, they just have a set date because now you got to do all the paperwork with the social worker, your exit photo, stuff for your ID to prepare for you getting out there, re-entry stuff to make sure that it's prepared before you walk out the doors.
was there ever a part during your sentence where you thought to yourself, I wish I took that plea deal? Or are you glad you stuck to your guns and what you believed in?
Hell
In
yeah, it gotta
hindsight, right
be.
now, sitting in front of you, I can say I'm glad I stuck to it. But yeah, of course, it was the plea was 18 with 85. So you technically
You did 15.
do 15 years and 3 months off of 18 with 85, I think. By the time I got 15 years and 3 months in, I'm sitting here like, man, I could have been
home
if I would have took that plea. Then when year 18 hit, I'm like, I basically
You
just
did the whole
maxed
yeah,
that
you
whole
maxed.
thing out. I should have been home. But I just always had faith in just even growing spiritually in my relationship with God. I used to always pray and just like, okay, it's a reason why I'm here. It's a reason why I went through this. And I can't change what I didn't take at that point in time. But I'm just praying that it work out, and ultimately did, is because now once they commuted, there's nothing that they can ever do. It's over.
What they should do is it should if the prosecutor offers you a plea deal, it should be whatever that plea deal is the max you can get if you lose trial.
And this is part of why they
Yeah, that's why they do it that way.
Because their thing is, if just using me, if they offered me 18 years, and in a month and a half later I go to trial, and you give me 60 years, which is an extra 42 years.
And your constitutional right to go to trial.
It's my constitutional right. What different evidence did you have between the 18 years and me losing trial, except for your feelings getting hurt that I made y'all spend money that I wanted to go to trial?
Yeah.
Facts.
But you're, in a way, paying tax dollars for that trial that happened to begin with, too, you know? So
exactly.
The system's very flawed in that aspect.
It is. It is. So, like, looking at it in the hindsight, like, yeah, it's moments that I actually thought, like, I probably should have took the 18, but looking at it now, like I said, it's behind me now where it's like, it's over. It's nothing that they could ever say or do. It's closed and just move from here.
What was it like to walk through that gate?
Oh, man, that was one of the greatest feelings. To know that I was walking down that hallway for the very last time, knowing that I did 19 years, and coming from where I came from, I did 19 years the right way. And I was just blessed to be one of the ones to be able to survive that experience, going from having 60 years to now walking free. So it was just a blessing. It's like an undescribable feeling. It definitely felt like a lot of weight was lifted off of my shoulders. And just once that door opened up, it was just like, oh man, I don't ever have to worry about this place again.
What was that?
Damn, son. Damn, I ain't gonna hold you. It's wild. It's wild how much the system is flawed. Because to offer somebody, right? To offer somebody 18 years. To offer them 18 years. They say, nah, I'm gonna take this shit to trial. You get to trial and then smoke their motherfucking boots with 60 years. That shit is crazy. And like I said, for me personally, knowing how the system is, I'm gonna take the 18. Now, the first offer of 50, yeah, nah, fuck that. We ain't doing that. I'm 50, fuck no. I take my chances at trial. It's an extra 10 years. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but when you double back and you say 18, like, all right, well, I'm looking at life. 18 is cool, especially if I'm 19 years old. Oh yeah, I'll be cool. I'll be straight. I'll do the 18. Shit, he did fucking 19. He should have just took the 18. You dig what I'm saying? But hindsight is always, you know what I'm saying, 2020. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand his standpoint back then. You know what I'm saying? He like, nah, I ain't trying to throw my life away. I ain't trying to throw away 18 years. I could probably go to trial. I might be able to win and yada, yada, yada. But you know what I'm saying? The shit played out the way it played out. You know what I'm saying? But I salute that brother, man. And I welcome him home, hopefully. You know what I'm saying? He walks a different path, you know what I'm saying? And I want to say welcome home to all those other brothers that were released under this Clemency Act and all of that, especially my cousin, you know what I'm saying? Like, when he went to prison, I was like 16, 17, some shit like that. I was like 17 when he went away. You dig what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? I'll be back in Jersey to visit him soon. I don't live in Jersey no more, you know what I'm saying? But I'll be back in Jersey to visit him soon. But y'all comment down below. Let me know how y'all feel about this, man. This shit is kind of crazy, man. But I appreciate y'all for rocking with me, man. Before you go, I need you to like, comment, subscribe, share, all of that good shit, man. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Bow!